For one day in January, hundreds of volunteers fan out along the Mississippi River bluff country, armed with binoculars and spotting scopes to count the wintering golden eagle population. Scott Mayhus is the education director at the National Eagle Center in Wabasha. He said the survey covers quite a large area on both sides of the river.
The survey area basically goes from Red Wing, Minnesota, down to about Dubuque, Iowa, and then mirrors that on the Wisconsin side of the river as well. So it covers 22 different counties in southeast Minnesota, western Wisconsin, and northeast Iowa. And the mean average route is about 54 square miles, is kind of the area of coverage for each one of those routes. There are 55 routes within that.
Mayhus said the survey focuses on the bluffs and valleys in what is known as the driftless area.
The Minnesota side is maybe about a half a county. Because these golden eagles are primarily found in the driftless area, they're not found along the river. They're not found in the flat farm country as well. So on the Minnesota side of the river, you go to about Plainview, and then you get out of the driftless area. On the Wisconsin side of the river, you can go towards Mondovi and Durand, and you're still into the bluff country. So the routes on the Wisconsin side definitely extend a little bit further inland than the Minnesota side.
Mayhus is the point man for the survey in our area, which relies solely on volunteers. The 2015 survey involved over 180 observers who spent the day scouring the skies for these solitary raptors.
Some people who do bird surveys, when they do a bird survey, they have to get up early in the morning because they want to see the birds as they're out actively feeding. But the golden eagles are really not really active until maybe 9, 10 in the morning. So most observers are getting out by 9 and probably staying out till about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. It's kind of the average length of stay that visitors are out, or volunteers are out.
Mayhus has been conducting his own personal survey of golden eagles over the past 2 decades. He said most people are unaware that they are even in our area because of their ability to blend in.
They're very hard to see. This is a population that I've been watching for 20 years. It's a population that most people didn't realize was here, and that's really why I started the survey 11 years ago, was to get people out there looking for them, confirming that there were as many as I was finding, but more importantly to get people out on a nice cold winter day looking for a species that most people didn't realize was here. And you're right, they're very difficult to find because they're going after prey items such as rabbits and squirrels and turkeys that all have pretty good eyesight themselves. They need to be blending in and then going after their prey at that last minute, and well hidden and well camouflaged. And so you can drive through the bluff country here and see a mile down the road and you'll see a bald eagle perched there. I can take you out to a site where a golden eagle might be perched in a tree and be less than 1/4 of a mile away, and you may overlook it. So they're very challenging to see. And so the numbers on the survey have been going up the last couple of years, but it's really observers are getting better at knowing where to look, because if they see that bird in flight, it's very easy to see. But then if they see where that bird lands, and if they were to go to that same area the following year and look in that same tree maybe, that bird may still be using that same tree the following year, because they're very site specific to the valleys that they use. I've been watching a valley near my home for 17 years, and the birds use the same valley all these years. They use the same trees almost day after day. They're perching in the same trees. We do the same thing at home. We get a nice spot to sit, a nice couch, we sit there a lot. Well, they do the same thing. We can sit and watch the TV. Well, they can sit and watch their landscape and go after their prey when they need to. It conserves energy.
The 2015 Wintering Golden Eagle Survey indicated a significant population of not just golden eagles, but bald eagles and other raptors as well.
This year's survey, we counted over 137 golden eagles. Last year, we had 112. That number was a little bit down last year. We did have a day, the survey day last year, half the day was snow in the morning. So that affected the numbers a little bit. The year before, we had 132 golden eagles. And so kind of average, but maybe slightly above the average number that we saw. Because we're also looking for other birds as well, we saw over 643 red-tailed hawks and over 1,700 bald eagles on the survey this year. Bald eagle numbers last year were about 800. The year before that were about 1,200. So yes, we're definitely over that. But when we look at compared to last year, we had a bit colder winter last year. We had more snow out in the landscape as well. This year, much less snow in that bluff country. And we know that bald eagles feed on fish, but they're very opportunistic predators. And so they'll feed on a variety of things, including dead deer and dead animals. And so they're out there feeding on that because there's no snow cover. They can find those things. So they're out there in those kind of numbers. So this winter, we've been seeing a few less numbers of bald eagles along the river. It's not that the population is down, as the survey has shown. Population is still very strong, just they're utilizing other areas.
According to Mayhus, the survey is the same weekend every year, and he encourages anyone who is interested to mark the date on their calendars.
It's always the third Saturday in January. Yep, I like to keep that consistent. Make sure people get it on their calendars. And so we're hoping to have, just as many people out there again next year. Every year I've been adding another 2 or so routes to the coverage as more and more people are interested in taking part. And even if observers are not able to be ready to cover their own route, because you do have to attend a training session in order to be a qualified surveyor, you can still ride along with other qualified surveyors, because the more eyes the better in that landscape. To find those hidden golden eagles is important.
To learn more about the Golden Eagle Survey and how you can participate, send an email to golden@nationaleaglecenter.org.